Yes, so we founded Tomorrow Makers in 2015, in June 2015. The goal and the intent was to fill a void in the traditional education system on the subject of money and personal finance. So one of the things we start to grapple with as soon as we start our careers or as soon as we become adults is to actually handle money, but yet there's very little formal education around handling it, and therefore we sought to kind of fill that gap with Tomorrow Makers. As it progressed, we realized that women today, being better educated than earlier, and they enjoy much more career opportunities than any other time in history, and we see equality in all kinds of streams for women. Yet, when it comes to taking the lead in managing their own personal finances or their family's personal finances, they kind of tend to take a back step, and therefore we then launched a section called Savvy Women. Which would provide women the right knowledge and awareness, giving them the tools and confidence necessary to make any active financial decision within the family. That's basically the birth of Tomorrow Makers and the birth of Savvy Women within Tomorrow Makers. As we started to do our research, we realized that world over, even though the gender gap is closing in many areas between men and women, when it comes to finances and it comes to readiness for retirement, our survey showed that women are completely disadvantaged, and compared to men, they're much lesser prepared for the eventual financial security of their future lives. And that's from various backgrounds. The life course of women fundamentally differs from those of men. Societal norms and expectations, marital norms, childbearing, family responsibilities, and other caregiving responsibilities. These kind of create real barriers for women and the ability to be self-reliant and prepare them for their long-term financial security. Women are more likely than men to take extended periods of time out from the workforce, thereby kind of building a limitation to the ability to save and continue the income generation for longer periods of time. And we felt there wasn't a resource that purely served the financial needs of women, and there wasn't a platform giving women all the awareness and the information they needed, along with the nuances of budgeting, spending wisely, investing, and growing their net worth. And that's really the reason. And we said, could we go ahead and build a site for women to come to, and thereby build a community of women online who would share their personal finance experiences with each other, as well as inspirational stories to draw from. You'll be surprised. I think this area saw about 37% more readership than most of our other sections on the site, and the growth rate of this has been phenomenal. So much so we're now encouraged to kind of create this in multiple language variants for tier 3 and tier 4 cities. But clearly a lot of interest, and like with most gender-based magazines and publications, we do see a fair share of men logging on to the Savvy Women platform as well. And that's probably to encourage the women in their lives to take a look at this problem. Yeah. Oh yes, of course. We undertake a study not only in India. We undertake an annual study, and that's done not only in India. We're part of a larger group called Aegon, and Aegon conducts a study globally every year. That research is done in give me a minute. I will tell you. It's done about 17 countries worldwide, and through a large base of people. We employ around 1,000 people at each research base, and therefore it's a very large study. The study focuses on retirement, financial readiness, and things like that. So we study this globally, and we study the trends globally. And India, I must say, India's results are a little bit encouraging in the sense that we are probably better prepared for retirement, but the gender gap is actually wider in India. Mm-hmm. Women at a greater disadvantage. Yeah. Yes. Well, clearly what we do want to do is make sure that we have this created particularly for women, and it is created by women journalists, creating specifically with the objective of getting women financially secure for the rest of their lives and helping them meet their long-term goals. The intent will be to work with principals and make sure that we can actually co-create products that could have a good buy-in by women in general. And we want to make this like a one-stop destination that helps, advises, and guides women on issues that affect every aspect of their life, from financial conversations that they should be having with their partners, from smart investment choices to meet their long-term goals, saving for their child's education, planning for emergencies, offbeat career options that they can explore, balancing home and work, keeping their physical and mental health in check. So we want to be the friend, philosopher, guide for Indian women, and that's what Savvy Women will kind of set apart vis-a-vis the other portals that could be in the space. Yes, I think the three focus areas would largely revolve around giving them the right tools to be able to get them the confidence needed, to partake actively in these financial decision making. The second focus area would be to make sure that they have a good tab on their financial and mental health in check. And the third would be to kind of build a community of women getting together. So I think if we give them the right tools and confidence, as well as make sure that they're able to keep their well-being, including financial and mental well-being in place, and network with other women for inspirational stories. I think these are the three kind of pillars that we're looking for. These are the gauges by which we'll measure the success of this platform going ahead. Yes. Well, and I'm generalizing. In general, women tend to take a back seat, and that's a natural stance. It's a domain that they very easily relinquish and say that, listen, I'd let the male take the lead. So that's the first aspect, right? The desire to actually step forward and say, okay, I am going to go ahead and play an active role, and this is to lead from the front. We see that kind of lacking in general, right? So I'm leaving the exception aside, and that's the general what we foresee. And the second aspect tends to be more oriented towards security. So it's largely about how do you make sure that there's enough money in the bank, liquid all the time, and you don't see the risk-taking appetite for women is slightly lesser as compared to men, right? And I think somehow that's inherent in most of the surveys that came across. The third thing that we see is that women tend to have an attachment more towards tangibles than intangibles, right? So you'll find women more buying more gold, real estate, things that are more tangible in nature than something that you could kind of take away. And again, remember, this survey generalizes across various cities in India, and we are generalizing based on this survey. So keep the exceptions aside. I think ETPrime Women is a fantastic platform. Especially the Leadership Awards celebrates exemplary women who have kind of shattered the glass ceiling to achieve path-breaking results. So these are the women who have nurtured and charted into unknown territories and created lasting blueprints for success. We join hands with this initiative because we want to inspire our readers to follow them and to go in the same footsteps as these extraordinary women achievers, and show them that they too can dream big and achieve all they can desire. It's about taking that first step, and these women provide all the inspiration for it. So I think the platform as such is celebratory in nature, and that's what we want to kind of associate ourselves with.